It's a lot warmer today at 76. I had my son Brandon turn the heat off in here earlier this morning. Been out and about in the world. Last night we had a catastrophe happen. The microwave in the kitchen had an electronic meltdown. It did that earlier, and I rewired part of it. Now it's gone. It wasn't a cheap one either. It's just that you don't get anything anymore. We go through about a microwave a year, it seems like, just because most of them are junk. But they took mine from in here in the office. As you can see, I no longer have a microwave. I'll have to go get me one. I woke up this morning thinking about a friend of mine named Steve Connolly from high school. And I've been trying to find him, no luck. Been looking everywhere I could, no luck, which is unusual for me. The problem is, I don't know how he spelt his last name. Was it C-O-N-L-E-Y? Was it C-O-N-N-E-L-L-Y? Was it C-O-N-N-E-L-Y? Was it C-O-N-E-L-Y? Was it C-O-N-A-L-Y? Was it C-O-N-N-A-L-L-Y? I've checked all of them that I could think of. He was a good friend of mine in high school. And he was the only guy that I could hold actual conversations about quantum physics and other things with. He was the only one out of all my friends that actually understood the principle that we were dealing with. Then, Linda and I got married. We moved to Bakersfield, California, and just a second. A little bit more about my life here. And we lived in Bakersfield for about a year, a little over that actually, and my son Brandon was born in Bakersfield, California. Linda and I originally shared a house with my brother-in-law, Vernon Marcois, and her sister, Judy, at 320 or 425 Mount Vernon Avenue in Bakersfield. I haven't looked that house up in a long time. I did have a PM with a private message with Judy, and she loved that house. We did too, but familiarity breeds contempt. It was not a good fit for us. So Lynn and I got our own place on the bluff overlooking Oildale, California, and lived there for a while. Then we moved from there, had a 1951 Chevy step-side pickup, I've wanted one since then, but I'll probably never get it, and it'd be a waste of money. It broke down outside of Needles, California, in the middle of the desert, and had a broken bell housing. And I had a friend of mine, a good friend named Steve Connolly, drove me back out, and we towed that decrepit old truck all the way back from Needles, California to I guess to Norman, Oklahoma. We lived there for a little bit, and then we moved down to Ringling, Oklahoma for a year. But I was thinking about Steve when I woke up this morning, and I will find him, or I'll find where he's buried. I hope he's still alive. Then that got me thinking about a deal. I sent a friend request to a girl named Martha Sells, was Martha Sneed in high school. She used to be on my friends list. I didn't delete her. I haven't unfriended but 3 people since I've been on Facebook. But what happened, the one time I had to have this computer redone, I had to have my computer tech get into it, and it wasn't someone hacked it and got into it. It was a huge power surge, and when the lights came back on, the computer had to have some things rebuilt, and when it did, when I turned it back on out here, it got rid of some friends on Facebook, and I don't remember which ones. I wouldn't have remembered Martha today, except I was trying to find Steve, and there was Martha, a total classy girl. I mean, totally. She and her husband, Steve Sells, lived down in, I think, in Texas. So I sent her a friend request. Maybe she'll accept it, maybe she won't. I've never had hard feelings toward her or Ruann Scott, which I think is now Ruann Crumpley, against any of my high school friends, both in Norman and in Chickasha. I've never had any hard feelings against any of them. I've lost touch with most of them. Due to the nature of what I used to do for a living, I've had, what is that? More me getting distracted. Due to what I used to do for a living, and due to a period of privation in my family's lives, about 30 years ago, we went through some really rough times. I won't ever reveal how rough on here. I don't like living in the past, but the problem is, during that period of time, we weren't the only ones having problems. My dad and my mom, who watches this, had problems. A lot of my friends had problems. The economy was in a shambles. And then we ended up moving back down here to southern Oklahoma, and life's been pretty good since then, actually. But got to get a sip. But I've had a lot of time to reflect on a lot of things. It's like my buddy Jerry and I were sitting down at Fun Valley. They did a burn-off down there, and what is that? Oh, okay. They had a ton of excuse me, a ton of brush. You got to, well, let me illuminate what I'm talking about here. First, you had a freeze, an unprecedented freeze here in southern Oklahoma and in Texas. shut down the power grid in Texas for a long time. Shut it down here for a while. I had two $800 water bills due to the pipes bursting on Benjamin's house. And it was rough. That killed a bunch of trees. And then we had a windstorm here not too long ago, and most of Jerry's pecan trees over at Fun Valley are old school. They're old pecan trees, big old giants, and it split some. It destroyed some pretty bad. So they had a guy come in and clean a lot of that up for the firewood, but there's still a huge amount of it. So they dozed a bunch of it into piles, and that's what they're doing today, is burning it off. The reason for that is it is a park for families to come have fun and to play, and he's going to be having the magnificent mile of mud, and he's also putting in a dirt track down there. And the last thing he wants is a bunch of brush piles for rattlesnakes and copperheads and other poisonous snakes to hide under and then bite somebody. It's not about the liability for Jerry. It's about he doesn't want people, especially little kids, getting hurt. So he and I talked about that, and we talked about the economy, and talked about, you know, how bad the economy's getting ready to get. And it is. You know, I went to breakfast this morning at Boomerang, and they got a new girl working there. And while I was eating breakfast, I reached down to get my phone, and guess what? It was still in the bedroom. Right now, Ashton and Cheyenne and Zara Rose are schooling. Here in a couple of weeks, Nick and I are going to be going to the school and registering Aurora and Ash and Shy to go back to public school. I know a lot of people are scared about the Omicron variant out of South Africa and how bad it is. A lot of times these public health officials keep the pot stirred, and I really believe it's due to self-importance, and I also believe it's about money, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm hoping that YouTube doesn't strike. You're telling a lie. No, I'm not. YouTube has not done due diligence on my background because I'm a nobody and they do not care. But several of the things they've said I said that were untrue have turned out now. There are United States senators saying the same thing and grilling medical professionals in front of Congress over the same thing. And I noticed that on Twitter, Jack Dorsey suddenly bowed out and he retired. Read into that what you want. I know that YouTube is a business. They have to make money. They like to make money. And they like their video presenters, the people with channels. Even though I've got this little one, I don't make a dime, and I probably never will, and I don't care. I have other things that I will be doing and do to make money. But it's a business. It has to be run like a business. However, a lot of their censorship issues I take exception to simply because it is a matter of their opinion. Yeah, I'm probably going to get this video deleted. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Just like everybody has a belly button. You have to have one. Wow. Yeah, I've got folks pushing me to go back on radio, and I am contemplating it, but I'm not promising that I will. It's like I told my son Chris earlier today. You know, he quit a really lucrative job over in Sulphur due to an 81-year-old man throwing fits with him. And I told him, I said, it got to the point I was so burned out, I don't know if I could do it anymore. Linda misses sitting and having me doing the show, but when I get to the point I can't think, and I'm pretty much there these days, and I don't do well on the show, there's no sense doing it. Now, on to bigger and better things. One, something hot and black. Two, Thursday, the green bomb gets repaired by my youngest son. And what I told him a little bit ago, earlier this afternoon, once the green bomb is done, then we will be going immediately to my van. I've got to call a salvage yard up at St. Louis, Oklahoma, with a whole 150 people living in it, and ask them if they have a steering column for my van. And hopefully they do. I'll call them here in a minute. After I do this, it'll be something I will do and get how much it'll cost and all that. We're going to fix the old truck, and then Linda and I are going to go have fun in it. I've got to do a steering column, I've got to do brakes, I've got to do new tires, I've got to fix the fuel gauge, and I probably need to get new seats for the front seat, and I need to build a bed in the back. I've got to put blinds in it, around it, to seal it off. Got to put a TV, got to have Chris fix the ventilation system in the dash, and probably need to do some repairs on the passenger door. I actually like the driver door. It has a slide lock on it, and that's good enough for me. I don't want to make it fancy except for the inside, and I want it to be really comfortable. And I told my son Chris, by March or April, I want it so Linda and I can get in the dude and roll on out of here. Jerry's talking about loading Diane, his sweetheart, up and making a day trip. That's where they take a day going down, spend the night, a day back. And Linda and I need to do some of that. He's got a big fancy, well, it's not big, he's got a fancy Mercedes-Benz RV. Mine's going to be a not so fancy and a lot older GMC RV, but it'll still do the trick when I get done with it. What that is about is just enjoyment. He and his next place he wants to go is Lake Altus Luger down by Altus, Oklahoma. Linda and I have been there, and I'll tell you, I think we have. I've been there. When I went by, it was dry. I mean, and we've had this drought going on. There's not a, it's dry. And he and I discussed that a bit. The level at Fun Valley Lake is dropping more every day. He said he went to look at Turner Falls, and there's that much water coming over the falls, and I believe that. It breaks my heart to go see it, so I don't go over there. But the rains will come someday. That's my wife's one of two silky roosters out there letting us know he's a he and not a she. Letting everybody know he's the boss. Well, that's pretty much all the info today, guys. Mom, John, I love you. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. My brother Michael, hope you're doing well. My buddy Monty Jones in Lone Grove, America, I hope you and yours are doing well. My buddy Chris in Florida, I hope you're doing well. Shell Dion in Illinois, I hope everything's going well for you and yours. And David Talaga in Illinois, I hope everything's going well for you. And my new friend Jackie Brill Sands, S-A-N-D-S, not Sans, S-A-N-S. That algorithm messes up what I say every time you go into closed caption. But Jackie, I hope you and your family are doing well. That's it pretty much. It really is. Got to get a sip while I'm departing. Oh yeah, I will have another microwave in here. I'll probably buy the house a new one and take mine back. Love all of you, I do. And like the sign says right there, be kind. God bless you and bye.